Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my 5th Amendment right to silence.
Recent congressional testimony has raised serious questions about coordination and legal strategy. Ghislaine Maxwell appeared before the House Oversight Committee, invoking her 5th Amendment rights against self-incrimination. This came months after she spoke with Trump's former criminal defense attorney, Todd Blanche, without invoking those same constitutional protections, a conversation where testimony reportedly contradicted documented facts. The pattern emerges clearly across multiple legal proceedings. Epstein invoked 5th Amendment protections when questioned about Trump's interactions with underage females. Maxwell now follows the identical playbook, refusing to answer questions about Trump, underage individuals, potential pardon promises, and co-conspirator identities. Constitutional protections against self-incrimination exist for valid reasons. However, the selective application and coordinated timing suggest deeper implications.
So, Mr. Trump, I take it you are not going to answer any questions about your preparation today with your counsel. Is that correct?
Should I say this, or should I respond to that?
Let's read that.
For all of the reasons provided in my answer, which is incorporated herein, in its entirety, I decline to answer the question. Same answer. 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 Anyone in my position not taking the 5th Amendment would be a fool.
The 2022 civil fraud deposition revealed hundreds of consecutive 5th Amendment invocations. The same individual who once publicly declared that invoking constitutional protections indicates guilt now relied on those exact protections when facing legal scrutiny.
Here's people taking the 5th Amendment. 4 people plus the guy who illegally did the server. You know, he put in the illegal server. So there are 5 people taking the 5th Amendment, like you see on the mob, right? You see the mob takes the 5th. If you're innocent, why are you taking the 5th Amendment?
The previous 24 hours marked a catastrophic period for the administration. Public awareness continues expanding regarding the scope and severity of the Epstein document releases. Statistical analysis reveals Trump's name appears in the released Epstein files more frequently than foundational references in major literary works, a data point that transcends political rhetoric and enters documented fact territory. Current releases represent only a fraction of available material. Approximately 3 million additional documents remain sealed within Department of Justice custody. The partial release already creates international shockwaves, impacting governments, world leaders, and corporate executives globally.
The Department of Justice has not sent forth its so-called privilege log, so it's not explained yet why there might be certain redactions that have been made. I saw one document which was an email that was sent by Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, which was the forward of an email that he had received from some of his lawyers, giving an account of a conversation between Epstein lawyers and Trump lawyers and others about what had taken place during that 2009 period. It was during the period of the 2009 investigation. And Epstein's lawyers synopsized and quoted Trump as saying that that Jeffrey Epstein was not a member of his club at Mar-a-Lago, but he was a guest at Mar-a-Lago, and he had never been asked to leave. And that was redacted for some indeterminate, inscrutable reason. I know it seems to be at odds with some things that President Trump has been saying recently about how he had kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club or asked him to leave. And this was at least one report that appears to contradict it. But
Congressional investigators gained access yesterday to DOJ-held Epstein files with redactions removed. The Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General, both former Trump defense attorneys, placed lawmakers in a confined space with 2.7 million documents without proper indexing or navigation tools. Investigative journalist Julie K. Brown, whose original 2017 reporting catalyzed the entire Epstein investigation, uncovered additional bombshell evidence. Palm Beach police records from 2006 show Trump contacted then police chief Michael Ryder when Epstein's criminal charges became public. These documented statements to law enforcement fundamentally contradict subsequent public denials of knowledge.
So first of all, you go into the Department of Justice today, you go to the 10th floor of a building, there's nobody who works on that floor. You go into a room with 4 computers. The system that they set up for us to view these documents has a 24-page handbook on how to use it. There's 2.7 million documents that you have to go through. There's no way to go through them unless you know what you're looking for by batch number. Try to match up the redacted document and look for it in an unredacted capacity. But first, let me say that today I saw a worldwide trafficking ring with people in other countries sourcing young children for Jeffrey Epstein, co-conspirators' names, men and women. Clearly, other people that might be on the client list that are on text messages and emails. Over-redaction, dramatic over-redaction. It looks like intentionally so. And then documents that are still redacted. And when we asked why these were redacted, that's because they were submitted into this electronic system redacted. And the people that were at our disposal to ask those questions did not know why they were still redacted, Jake.
The document review process reveals systemic obstruction. Lawmakers discovered a worldwide trafficking network with international operatives sourcing minors for Epstein. Co-conspirator identities, both male and female, appear throughout communications, text messages, and emails. Massive over-redaction appears intentional rather than procedural. Documents remain redacted within the electronic system itself, with DOJ personnel unable to explain the legal justification.
You said that you do not support at all Ghislaine Maxwell getting any clemency for her testimony. And why is it important for her to be held accountable?
Well, because according to the files that we all saw, she was engaged in the trafficking and also young women and potentially children. I don't think that she deserves any special treatment. She's a monster.
Evidence reviewed indicates Maxwell directly participated in trafficking and assault of young women and children. The files document her active operational role rather than peripheral involvement.
Congresswoman, are you among the members who got to see the unredacted files today?
Yes, I saw some of them, not all of them, obviously. And I'll be going back tomorrow to see more.
Any reaction on what you've seen so far?
I think that there's folks who are definitely implicated and co-conspirators. And, I don't think everyone there that was talking about underage girls being trafficked are victims.
Got it. And do you support any clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell? She was saying that
I do not. Okay. I think Ghislaine Maxwell should get more time, and she should definitely be in a harsher prison than what she's in. It's absolutely disgusting.
Multiple co-conspirators face clear implication in the unredacted materials. Documents reveal discussions about underage victims throughout the network. Congressional members across partisan lines unanimously oppose any clemency consideration, calling for enhanced sentences and maximum security imprisonment.
I've not been one of the members who has glommed onto this as an issue. I've sort of intentionally deferred to others to find out about it. But 9-year-old victims, that's...
All over the world, Moscow was just saying too, it was sort of like a real global network that they're now getting to see on these 4 terminals they have house-side.
Wow. Well, initially my reaction to all this was, I don't care, I don't know what the big deal is. But now I see what the big deal is, and it was worth investigating, and the members of Congress that have been pushing this were not wrong. So that's really my only reaction.
Lawmakers who initially questioned the significance of Epstein file releases now acknowledge grave errors in judgment. The scope includes victims as young as 9 years old across a global network. Newly surfaced correspondence discusses a 2003 birthday book project. Unlawfully redacted emails from December 2002 explicitly request Trump's contribution to this birthday book. Correspondence that directly contradicts denials of participation. Attempts to block the publicly funded alternative serve oligarch interests while damaging Michigan's economy and international relations. The pattern of protecting billionaire monopolies over public infrastructure benefits continues. The administration's war on children extends beyond connections. ProPublica obtained handwritten letters from minors detained at the Dilley Immigration Processing Center, the same facility that held 5-year-old Liam Canio Ramos. Hundreds of children remain in detention under conditions that violate basic humanitarian standards. A 12-year-old detained for 60 days writes, "I've already spent more than 60 days waking up eating the same repetitive meals, going to the doctor, and the only thing they tell you is to drink more water, and the worst thing is that it seems like the water is what makes the people sick here." A 9-year-old detained for 50 days writes, "I miss my school and my friends. I feel bad since when I came here to this place because I had been here too long." A 5-year-old's drawing shows their separated family with the caption, "Louisiana Tesa Mi Familia," heartbreaking artwork documenting government-imposed trauma. The pattern connects. Individuals with documented histories of targeting children now oversee policies that systematically harm the most vulnerable. The Epstein network's legacy manifests in current policy decisions affecting thousands of detained minors. The evidence demands accountability. Constitutional mechanisms exist for removing convicted felons from positions of power. The time for invoking those mechanisms arrives now.